Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about episode 13, the season finale of Black Lightning. Now, as always, there's going to be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen the season finale yet, you've been warned. Okay, so let's just get into it. So at the end of last episode, I did make a review on last episode if you haven't seen it, but at the end of last episode, Black Lightning and Thunder were fighting Tobias and Khalil and Cyanide. Khalil and Tobias thought that Black Lightning was dead, but he wasn't. He was just unconscious from the fight. And so at the beginning of this episode, Black Lightning and his family and Gambi are all in some like cabin in the woods that Gambi has, and they're treating Black Lightning to make sure that he gets better. So this episode's cool because it has flashbacks, and you see Black Lightning, well, Jefferson, with his father before his father was killed. And you see their father-son relationship, and you see where Jefferson gets his whole speech that he gives to the kids all the time. Whose life is it? My life. What are you going to do with it? Live it by any means necessary. That whole thing, his father taught him that, and his father was strict on him but also loving, and you see their whole relationship develop. And you also see Jefferson's father talking to Gambi 30 years ago, and Gambi was telling him, what you're doing is dangerous, it's not worth it, and all this stuff. And Jefferson's dad he ends up doing it anyway, and that's how he ends up being killed, because he was investigating things that led to him being killed. So you see all this flashback throughout the beginning of this episode. All these flashbacks are happening in Jefferson's mind while he's unconscious, and in the real world, Gambi is talking to Jennifer, trying to make her feel better about the whole situation because she's still freaking out about having superpowers, and it really messed her up seeing Khalil being all evil and everything last episode. And Gambi's trying to tell her that is not the Khalil that you know anymore, and you need to snap into reality and see that he is dangerous now. Gambi talks to Anissa because Anissa is a fighter, and she's ready. She doesn't want to be in hiding. She wants to go out there and get Proctor, the leader of the ASA. And Gambi has to tell her, no, we're all vulnerable if you leave. Black Lightning's unconscious. You're the strongest out of all of us. We need you here. So Anissa stays. Meanwhile, Lynn is laying with Jefferson while he's unconscious, and she's like pouring her heart out to him and saying how much I love you, and we have this connection. And when I thought that you died, I felt this cold pit in my stomach or something like that, and just saying how much she needs him and that he needs to return back to her. So, as we can see, her character development over the past 13 episodes. At the beginning, she was super standoffish, kind of this like on again, off again thing where she couldn't make up her mind. But it seems like she's made up her mind at this point, and that she is full team Black Lightning, and like she wants him now. That's the vibe that I'm getting. That she is willing to keep Black Lightning around because she truly wants Jefferson. So it seems like she's made a decision. But anyway, so that's what's going on with them. Meanwhile, the ASA, Proctor, I think that's his name, Proctor, he's still trying to find Black Lightning, and eventually he does find where they're hiding out in the woods, and he sends all these men out there to kill them. Conveniently, around the same time, Black Lightning wakes up after having this meeting with his father and his subconscious, and his father tells him, you can't stay here, like you need to go, you got to finish your business, go do what you need to do. So Black Lightning wakes up, but he wakes up and he doesn't have his powers. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to fight all these soldiers outside, and Black Lightning dresses up in his suit, but he still doesn't have his powers, and he's basically going to go out there and sacrifice himself so that the rest of his family can get away. Jennifer, the 16-year-old with powers, gets emotional, and she goes and hugs her dad, and her powers activate, and she kind of recharges Black Lightning and he gets his powers. So Black Lightning and Thunder go out and they start fighting and it's going pretty well. But then the soldiers have some type of weapon and it freezes Anissa Thunder and she can't use her powers and she can't move. So they're like one man down. Black Lightning's out there still fighting. The soldiers break into the house. Gambi shoots somebody. It turns out Lynn is pretty good with a shotgun. She shoots a couple people. And then also Jennifer gets a chance to use her powers and she blasts somebody with her powers. So they win the fight ultimately and they're able to escape the house. In other news with Tobias, he wants Proctor dead. So he sends in Lala. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't call him that. He sends in Latavius. And Latavius has a bomb inside of him, and he sends Latavius to Proctor and some other ASA agents, and they're interrogating Latavius, and he coughs up a string, and he pulls the string, and the whole room explodes. But not before Proctor and a couple other agents are able to get out the room, so they make it. But it seems like those other agents are dead, and it seems like Latavius would die too, but I'm suspicious about that. Because it seems like he can't really die. He just keeps coming back. Well, obviously he came back the first time, but then all these other things keep happening to him. I don't know. It was one episode where, he was trying to shoot somebody, or somebody was trying to shoot him, but no bullets came out, or the gun jammed or something. It just seems like he's able to survive most situations after this whole process that they called it a specific thing. I can't remember the name. It started with an R. Not resurrection, but it was something else. But after this whole procedure that brought him back to life, it just seems like luck is on his side. So I don't think that's the last we've seen of Latavius. We'll see next season. But so yeah, Tobias is still after Proctor, and while Proctor's men are out trying to fight Black Lightning and Thunder, Tobias, Cyanide, and Khalil, who is now officially Painkiller. So you were right, somebody in the comments, he posted that he's Painkiller. They announced in this episode, or they called him Painkiller for the first time in this episode. So they go to the ASA, they kill a whole bunch of people. Somehow Proctor still makes it out, and but Tobias gets a briefcase that was left there. And at the end of the episode, they show him opening the briefcase, and a green light illuminates Tobias's face. So I'm guessing it's green light, the drug, or I don't know what else it is if it's not the actual drug green light. But Tobias looks pretty happy to be opening the briefcase. So when Proctor managed to escape Tobias, he's going throughout his facility, and he goes to the places where the pods are being kept, the pods that have the kids, and some of these kids are dying, and he's trying to save the few that are still left. And when he goes to the place where the pods are, Black Lightning's there. They're all there. All the Pierces are there. Black Lightning, Thunder, Jennifer, Lynn, and Gambi are there. They start questioning him, and Proctor tries to convince them to let him live and all this stuff, and Gambi's just like, no, you're a horrible person, and shoots him 3 times in the chest. And I, for one, I'm kind of glad. I'm glad that they didn't go the typical hero route and let him live and, just keep him as a prisoner. Gambi's like, no. You need to die right now. You're a bad person. You're out. So he kills him and drags his body away. Meanwhile, the Pierces are trying to figure out how to save these kids, and they realized that they needed that briefcase that Tobias opened at the end of the episode. They needed that briefcase to get the kids out of the pods. They didn't have the briefcase. So Lynn says, I think I know someone who can help us. And the episode ends shortly after that, so we never see what happens to the kids. And I don't know. I have a suspicion that Lynn is Jon Stewart's sister, because Lynn's last name is Stewart, and I just feel like that's not a coincidence. So I feel like she's the sister of Jon Stewart, and I was thinking like, what if they bring in Jon Stewart to help? But then I was like, well, wait, he can't really help, could he? I don't think he could. And I looked like in his backstory, and he used to be an architect, so it really seems like he couldn't help here. I don't know if his like ring has healing powers. I don't think it does. So maybe they're not talking about Jon Stewart. But I want them to like segue him in season 2. Like, just say it. Just like, can we just have a mention of her brother's name? We don't even have to see him yet, but I just confirm what I know is true. But anyway, so I don't know who she's talking about. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna bring over any of the other shows and make this officially a part of the Arrowverse, because at the beginning of the season, the writer said that this was not a part of the Arrowverse. So I don't know, but that's obviously something that we'll discover more about in season 2. So with Proctor dead, we also learned that Proctor's not really a part of the ASA. He used to be, but he turned into a rogue agent, and he's just kind of operating on his own. So the real ASA knows nothing about Jefferson or his family or any of their abilities. So with Proctor dead, the Jeffersons are free to just go out and live their life. And that's how the episode ends. They're like running through the street, and they go back home, and it's the 4 of them sitting as a happy family on the porch. It does seem as if Jennifer is more accepting of her powers by the end of this episode. At the beginning, she's still freaking out, but by the end of it, she's used her powers a couple times to save people and help her dad. So I guess she's starting to get more used to the idea, and she seems in a much happier place. Anissa's been fine for a few episodes now. She's really owning this whole superhero thing. Lynn has obviously chosen to accept Jefferson for who he is and what all comes with him, meaning the whole Black Lightning persona. And Jefferson seems happy because he's out there fighting again, and he's got his wife back, and his kids are happy and growing into their own person. And developing their powers. So it all seemed happy in the Jefferson household. I think that this was a great first season. I'm really happy about season 2, or rather, I'm excited for season 2. This season only had 13 episodes, and I think that it turned out to be a good thing versus, Arrow and The Flash. They have 23 episodes, and when a season is that long, I feel like they just throw in a couple filler episodes that don't really add to the plot at all of the story. But since Black Lightning only had 13, they really have to make sure that they're using each episode and build and build and build with the character development and building towards the plot. So I think I'm happy with the season. I think that it did a good job of showing like racial issues and just a good conversation about different issues affecting society every episode, and also good action sequences, a great soundtrack every episode, and it's a good show. So I'm excited for season 2. Comment down below if how you felt about this season or about this episode in particular. Hope you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.